Shalom, shalom, Israel. This your brother Nayako. Look, this video here, um, is an attempt or effort to relay to you exactly what's going on right before your very eyes, so that you all can be careful of the things that you do. Okay? Now, what you see happening right now is chaos entering in, and chaos is only the result of the lack of wisdom in the midst of freedom. Okay? And people are being liberated all over the world right now from carnal government. They're being liberated all over the world from society, carnal society. Everything carnal is being lifted off of man. Everything that used to keep carnal life sustained, carnal life going, everything that used to keep it going is no longer there, because it takes spiritual forces in carnal life in order for carnal life to sustain itself. But if those spiritual forces are shifting to the kingdom of heaven versus the carnal kingdom, then you will see exactly what's happening right before your very eyes. Now, let me begin to explain this to you the best way that I can. Okay? The wheat and the tare. The dividing of the wheat and the tare and the establishing of who is lukewarm. What would that actually look like? If the Most High, which he isn't, I'm going to explain to you his nature of judgment. It's not like how carnal man judges. You go to your courtrooms and there's a judge sitting in his seat ready to hit his mallet, javel to the sentencing that he decrees by way of the evidence that was presented to him. Okay? And so we see that this is the nature of a judge, and we think that not knowing how things work in the spirit, we think that things must be done one at a time. People like I've seen the renditions. There's a long line of people waiting for judgment. There has been the nature of people being told, of writers writing of a long line being illustrated, whereby people go through this line and they anguish, and they see who's being judged before them, and they know that their turn awaits and things like that. This is useful for you to see it this way, so that the understanding of how serious it is may set in your heart. This is serious, and this is useful and necessary for you to see it that way. But now I'm going to give you the true nature of the judgment that is befalling us. Okay? And you will find out that it's not one at a time, and it's all happening as a whole. And judgment as a whole looks like exactly what we see before our very eyes happening at this very moment. Now let's go by way of the nations. You will see that judgment is coming down upon all nations simultaneously. It's not one nation after the other. They're not standing in line to be judged. It's not America first, then Arabia, or China, or Russia. It's not one nation after the other. It's all happening all in one single setting, all happening day by day, in every single facet of each and every economy, each and every nation. They're all suffering at each and every level of their society. Okay? And now this is going to happen more and more and more, because the judgment is that these nations be depleted. They be absolutely removed. They exist no more. They must. If I am the Most High and my kingdom is getting ready to be established, then no other kingdom, okay, is right. No other kingdom is necessary. No other kingdom is considered a kingdom. There, in the eyes of the Most High, there is only one nation that he respects and sees and considers. There's only one kingdom. There's only one. The Most High's number is one. Everything is one. When he sees man, he only sees Adam. One man. He only sees Adam, and Adam in every single part of his being, he sees it. One nation he sees as one. You understand what I'm saying? And so this whole world to him is a nation. Okay? And now this nation has a condition where it is ruled by the righteous or the wicked. Okay? And now the righteous are what he considers the true nation, and the wicked is what he sees made for stubble. The tare that is made for stubble. Now, a fire blazing for that stubble is not the type of fire that we consider. Let me see. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. So it's not this type of fire. Okay? The stubble is not meant for this type of fire. It's a spiritual fire that it's pain and anguish and hardship. This is what a spiritual fire looks like: pain and anguish. Look, the manifestation of this when I touch it is pain. You see, this flame immediately activates the spiritual nature when I touch it, of pain within me. See, pain is a spiritual thing. Pain is a spiritual force that is meant to teach me. When I put my hand here, I feel pain, and knowing the nature of pain, man is meant to use pain to be a evidence. He's meant to use pain to be evidence for him to avoid that way. You understand what I'm saying? That's what pain is meant to teach you, to avoid this and learn how to do better in order to keep this pain from happening. How to do better to keep this pain from happening is for me to absolutely avoid putting my hand into this fire. Okay? Now that's just the front point blank simple statement with regards to the nature of the things that are going on. So now, the wheat, they are the ones, or the tares are the ones who are ignorant enough that they keep putting their hand into the fire. You understand what I'm saying? They're the ones that are doing this. Their nature is that if they be hungry, and this is written in the scriptures, they wouldn't so much, and they see a bowl full of food, they were so lazy that they wouldn't so much as dip the spoon into the bowl and place the spoon to their mouth, because that's too much work. You understand what I'm saying? This is the nature of the carnal minded right now. They are the wheat and the tares. Now, I want to show you the nature of the demons that are uniting with men to show forth them to be marked as beasts. And I will show you the angels, the true spiritual essences that are uniting with man so as to show forth them to be the wheat, the good grain made for the kingdom of heaven. There's the bad and the good, that which is made for pain, and that which is made for good. Now, out of this, everything that's happening right now is going to be recorded for the sake of the kingdom of heaven, so that in the books of heaven you will be able to read what's happening right now. And this is the full essence. I'm talking about, this is a book of life happening right now that is evidence to what we didn't have evidence to before sin began. We had no evidence to the fallacy, the hardship, the pain of sin. This cycle has happened so many times that it is good enough to teach us never to do it again. Because there were no records for our society, for this earth. There was no records for this earth to piggyback off of, to say, okay, we're going to avoid the fire. You understand what I'm saying? But the records are being made in the spirit, in truth, in actuality. You see, a record to the Most High is not like a writing in a book, like how we read our books. I don't have no book on me right now. How we read our books, and that's a recording. These are dead words on dead pages, not living words. You understand what I'm saying? They're all dead. They're all recorded. Once it's written down, it is a thing, a copy of the real thing. Once it's written down, it is a mere copy of the real thing. You understand what I'm saying? The real thing is the book that the Most High is dealing with. These copy that book to teach us. You understand what I'm saying? And so it is necessary, it must needs be necessary for us to live out the truth of the Most High, so we have a perfect record of it. Not just copied, but lived as well. You understand what I'm saying? And so, what do we have right now? Everybody is doing the work so that this book can be completed and made. Everybody is doing their proper work. Yea, even the wicked are doing their part to make sure that the truth of the book that the spiritual will have in their possession. Living book, the book of life that they have in their possession. You understand? Spiritually, in their possession. That they know, look, I can look and read the lives of everybody that's living their life right now, and I can conclude what becomes of it. And if I cannot conclude, then so be it. The Father shall make an end of it, so that it may be known that the wages of sin is nothing but death. Any manner of sin, no matter high or low, the one full and ultimate decree at the end thereof is death. There is no greater judgment than that. You understand? There is no greater judgment than that. In the living, in the now, for us here, no greater judgment is the death that results from the sin that we're doing right now. Yea, even the death that we deal with right now, the shortening of our lives, is also all resulting from sin. Where there is no sin, there is no death. Where one is one with the Most High, there is no death. You understand what I'm saying? There's only transition from height to height to height in His presence. And so, now, what do we see as far as demons and angels right now who have been released on the earth, so that man may join and unite with them and choose with whom he keeps his company? You understand? So that he may be a subject of the kingdom of heaven, a citizen of the kingdom of heaven, or a citizen of this carnal world. And if you are within a citizen and united and connected to this carnal world, then you shall perish in it. You understand what I'm saying? And if you're connected to the spiritual kingdom, you will live in it. and be exalted, or evolve in it. That's the word. When it comes down to exaltation, that's what I mean. Evolve. You will evolve continuously ad infinitum, eternally in the presence of the Most High, more and more in his presence, enjoying the fruits of his infinite kingdom, the infinite fruits of this infinite kingdom. You understand what I'm saying? And so here are the demons that you all must be watchful of, and the angels that you all must listen to. They will come to you and they will speak carnal things to you in your heart. Yeah, your mind will generate thoughts, and your thoughts are generated thus because the demon is nigh you. You understand what I'm saying? And so when it comes down to it, and when you're in the presence of the opportunity to do wickedness, the demon will speak to you of that opportunity. And that opportunity is revealed to you because that opportunity is what dwells in your heart. Yeah, if it did not dwell there, you will not sense the moment in which you have the chance to do it. And so, when it comes down to it, family, every single one of you are right now seeing the chaos, and chaos is every opportunity there for us to take advantage of. That's the true nature of this chaos that's in front of us. Every opportunity is out there for y'all to do, whether it be wicked or good, evil or good. These opportunities are out there for you all to take hold of. And I will reveal to you the nature of the evil opportunities versus the good opportunities. And by seizing these opportunities and acting in them or living them out, you fulfill the writing that needs to be documented, okay, for either life or death. And by fulfilling it, you are it. You become it. You become the monument, the example thereof, and it becomes the stain that you live with eternally. You see, that's the hardship a lot of y'all gonna deal with, is how much you've neglected and fallen short of the glory of the Most High. Like, what manner of nature would it be for you to be in the kingdom of heaven knowing you missed the mark, where you see people who are higher, who have not missed the mark, and who have risen in the presence of the Most High? And even though you see them that have risen in the presence of the Most High, because of your hardships, your error in his presence, your sin in his presence, you can never come to believe you even have the opportunity to make it there ever again. No more. It's it, because you missed the mark. This is what is going to be the consciousness within you. You see, even though evils go beyond the example I'm getting ready to give, a baby so precious, yea, so loving, so pure in its life, he who destroys that baby, you understand, has to deal with the life he destroyed in the kingdom of heaven. You understand? And you destroyed that life. I'm talking even aborted babies. You destroyed that life. And so, in your ascension in his presence, your exaltation, your evolution in his presence, you can go no faster than the life you destroyed. You understand? You're bound. There are a lot of us out here who are binding ourselves to individuals because we've wronged them. And the kingdom of heaven is full of great morale. You understand what I'm saying? Which means that if you be titled a teacher, you cannot teach unless this is truly in your heart. This is what you do from day to day. This is who you are. This is the life you live. This is the experience. You are one with your teaching. If you are a teacher and you're not one with it, then you are a liar. You understand what I'm saying? If you're a preacher and you're not one with your preaching, you are a liar. If you are not your preaching, you are a liar. You understand what I'm saying? There's no need to tell someone to overcome their sins and you haven't overcome yours. There's no need or no way you can rightly tell anyone a single thing in the kingdom of heaven when you yourself have the plank within your own eye, seeking to remove sawdust out your brother's eye? It's not going to happen. That's a high standard of moral. And a lot of us are going about our teachings, and a lot of us are going about our efforts in the presence of the Most High when we still have not grasped the nature of that standard you must have within your heart when trying to make an effort in His presence. You have to have a standard in your heart. You see, Cain didn't have that standard when he gave his sacrifice that Abel had a standard towards. Abel gave a sacrifice that he had a standard with. He was one with his sacrifice. You understand what I'm saying? This was truly in his heart to sacrifice. But no, Cain, he was wanting in his sacrifice. He wasn't truly one with it. His heart wasn't in it. He didn't really want to do it. He chose not the fattest, not the best, but the least, or something he could let go of. He didn't choose what he couldn't let go of. These are the standards in the kingdom of heaven. You understand what I'm saying? And so, all of you who think you can appear to be something, and that light standard isn't in your heart, you're not doing the right work. So, the wheat and the tare, you all have the opportunity to make your choice. There is evil happening right now. Governments are being lifted off of the shoulders of individuals. Yay. And what do you mean by this? Governments are being lifted. They have to be destroyed. These societies, these governments must be destroyed so that off the shoulders of the backs of their subjects and slaves, off the shoulders and the backs of of all of us, there will no longer be a government that is ruling us. Point in case. Prime example. Right now in Haiti, the government failed. I'm talking about I could actually say what I see in Haiti is the first of many nations that are going to have to go through the same thing. What we saw was the head cut off of a nation. We literally see a nation with the head cut off right now. And Haiti is the best example of that, right? And so, without the government, what's happening in that nation right now? Bandits are uniting to coerce their way to the top. Bandits and evil individuals are dominating and ruling, and those who have subtle actions within their hearts and in their being and can act in no greater standard or in no greater resolve than those of the evils that do. Their resolve is to remain subtle. Their resolve is, I'm too weak to overcome the individuals around me, and so their subtle actions are they're left with fear because they don't know the Most High. Okay? Even them that act in subtle actions, you have nothing to fear when you're one with the Most High. You kind of actually know what's going on. But the thing is, the reason trouble comes around those who are covered by does not come around those who are covered by the hand of the Most High, is because they're too subtle and precious in His sight. You see, the word precious to the Most High means you're a very subtle thing. Don't you understand that when you look at a creature that's so beautiful and light, you know, when you look at a creature like my puppet right here, look how subtle she is. You know, even though she's an animal, meat eater, or whatever have you. I got a guinea pig in the other room. He's even more subtle than she is, because she bites, and you can see she ready to do something when she plays. And this is the nature of her play. Her play is aggressive, and that's just about as aggressive as she can get, because her flesh isn't blessed with the the means with which to be forceful. So she remains subtle. Even though she eats meat, she remains subtle because she's been given properties of subtlety, right? How little she is, she's been given properties of subtlety. So if danger happens, if they're bigger dogs, she will run to the corner, and if they're playing, she can't play because they're too aggressive, if you will, in their play. So this is the wheat from the tare that I'm trying to explain to you. These governments, the ones who are I can't even say it's a blessing, because all things should be in common, whether they be mighty, powerful, or weak. Each and every person should be endowed with the same equity in the presence of the Most High, an ability to speak up and have the right to do what they need to do, no matter how subtle they are as an individual. You understand what I'm saying? Or matter how subtle and weak they may look, their voice is still just as powerful as a mighty man, as a king. You understand what I'm saying? In the kingdom of heaven, this is the nature of things in the kingdom of heaven. You see? And so when it comes down to it, the tare in Haiti, by the government being lifted, the head being chopped off of that nation, the opportunity to take over a country is in the hearts of the bandits and the hoodlums and the ones walking around with their guns. Because a lot of people, I'm gonna tell you, even a subtle creature with a gun seems to be mighty in this carnal world. You understand what I'm saying? Because they have this little quick draw killer. And so they seem to be mighty. And if they have a mightier host of guns and those willing to use them, then the one who's very weak and I wouldn't say subtle, because there's a difference between weak and subtle. Subtle is when it comes down to the spiritual nature of your actions. But when it comes down to weak, this is the physical thing that I'm talking about. There are those that are weak that are now mighty because they have a gun. You understand what I'm saying? In that nation, the opportunity to do evil has been given to the wicked. Almost like the movie Purge. Have you seen the movie Purge? Giving people the opportunity to seize the moment of the fantasies of their heart that have been full of evil in all of their being. You understand what I'm saying? In their thinking home, when they're fantasizing about this evil and one day getting a chance to do it as cool as they saw the person in the movie do it, you know, and then be as bad as they saw the bad man in the movie be. The Scarfaces and things like that. Yeah, say hello to my little friends and stuff. They want the opportunity to be as bad as he was. Pablo Escobar and all of these drug lords and stuff. They call them drug lords. You know, how ironic. Family. You see, there was once policing that a government could do in Haiti to keep them at bay. But now the demons are out. You understand? When there is no authority, no united authority at hand, the demons come out. And so nations are going to fall in that same sense. The demons will come out when these governments fall. Mark my words. Greater demons, you see, and the reason I chose to put the adjective in front of that is simply because of the fact that demons are already coming out in all nations, regardless. You see, coronavirus has set things in motion, in a sense, for these demons to seize the moment. And the thing is, a lot of y'all catching the coronavirus or ended up doing, how ironic, carnal things with the coronavirus. You're caught up in a carnal state of being, carnal state of living that got you caught up in the stream of those that are infected. You understand what I'm saying? Not to say that the righteous are also avoiding some of the effects. Some of those who go through it, who are righteous, are being tested, because there's also testing going on too. So as to see whether you are a wheat and a tare. You see, there's got to be a test to show forth your nature as to be wheat or tare. Something's got to happen. And so, I kid you not, Haiti is the first of the heads that will be cut off of these nations. And just like everything has been starting with one nation, giving you an example of what's coming, and then overshadowing and taking up the whole world, so shall it be the exact same thing. You see, some nations might be mightier, where their heads won't be cut off, or their heads will be cut off. But I will say this: to the will of the Most High let it be done in all the earth. You see, if the in some nations have greater wickednesses than them of Haiti, or greater some nations, I won't say greater wickednesses, because wickedness is equal all over the earth, but some nations who governments where the heads are going to be cut off have the more resolve and influence to do evil than others. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's been so much carnal life, carnal living, and I will say America is the worst, if you will, because she is the cesspool with which the Babylon, with which all these other nations have mirrored after in their government, their sense of government. You see? And so America, if the head be cut off this nation, y'all, demons, druids will go out and do evil and wickedness freely. You see, freedom is being manifested right now. And in order for freedom to be manifested, government's got to go. You understand what I'm saying? You see, because that's the nature of the kingdom of heaven. They're actually, I'm going to tell you like this. Though the kingdom of heaven is a government, the nature of the kingdom of heaven is no government at all. That's how governed individuals are. You are a government unto yourself in the kingdom of heaven. You understand what I'm saying? And so when it comes down to how these nations are, people do not have the ability to rightly govern themselves and avoid these sins that are destroying the earth right now. That's what's destroying the earth, not natural disasters. This is what's truly destroying the earth. You understand what I'm saying? And so we have failed the world, human society, nature, spirituality. We have failed in these things, right? And so the demons are coming out who lust for these things, and they're gonna go ahead and take hold of it and seize it as soon as it comes. So the real beginning of the revelation of who is a demon and who is not, because man himself is the demon, man himself is the angel. The true revelation of who they are is the moment in which they choose to seize whether to go left or right in his presence. And now the lukewarm have made no choice whatsoever. They decide to say it's safer on the fence, but no, it isn't. You understand what I'm saying? If you be on the fence, you would definitely be pulled down by the tare, because the weeds, not wheat, but weeds, pull down on the fences. They grow on fences and they consume. You understand what I'm saying? Anything that's on the fence, cover it all up. And so, I kid you not, if you stand on the fence, you will be engulfed in vines. and not vines from the kingdom of heaven, because there are no vines growing in the kingdom of heaven, but that which is of Christ, and that alone. And that's a vineyard rather than a vine. It is well kept. You see, well kept, anything well kept belongs to the kingdom of heaven. A world well kept is a kingdom of heaven. A world not well kept is now, as you can see, hell, written in the pages of life, so that you can well see there is no more trying to convince you of right and wrong. All I got to tell you now, look at the examples around you. That's it. I don't have to prove to you any of these are bad. All you got to do is look at the evidence around you and see what becomes of these things as they are doing these things. You can even look in the future. I kid you not. If any of these engulf the entire world, the whole world will perish. You understand what I'm saying? Let's just remove all of them and just leave one. Any one of these standing alone will destroy the kingdom of heaven. You understand what I'm saying? Every single one of these. We will not, if theft, we will be hurting and destroying one another, and then all of these are going to be born regardless. Any of these will give birth to all of them regardless. Idolatry, homosexuality, gluttony, greed, all of these, anger, any of these that engulf, if we all choose to do to abide by or govern ourselves according to any one of these as a holistic world, it will destroy all things. It will destroy society. The end of them all will be the death of mankind as a whole. Any one of them. And so, but these, if you just use one of these, let's just say love, you will give birth in creation and evolution to all of mankind, and we will not perish, because any one of these will trigger the existence of every single one of them. If you just go by one of these, that's how you tell the difference between a carnal virtue and a spiritual virtue. You understand what I'm saying? Just amplify it and you will see the result of it. Or just, if you can't see the result of it holistically, take one example, any one example of these, and you will see the destruction. There's no good. Listen at me. Even though it may appear to be good, there is absolutely no good that's coming from any of these. I promise you, family. There's absolutely no good coming from a single one of this. But the opportunity to do these are here now. It's evident. Governments are being lifted so that people can seize the moment, seize the day, live their life to the fullest in these. Because that's those who say I want to live my life to the fullest do so in a carnal mindset, which means they mean to make use of any one of these. Any one of these, they can make use of it. You say, oh, Anaya, but if I go around to amusement parks and travel the world and do all of these things, I'm not hurting nobody. Yes, you are. You understand what I'm saying? Because you have a responsibility to uphold these and lift up your next man. You're not doing nothing for nobody else but yourself your whole life, and then you say I live my life up to the fullest. No, you haven't. You've lived it selfishly. Selfishness is not fullness. They cannot exist hand in hand. Selfishness, it is impossible for selfishness to be fullness. You understand what I'm saying? They do not go hand in hand. Fullness comes when you take hold of these. Shortness comes when you're seized by these. You understand what I'm saying? There's a difference. These seize you. These you go into freely. Yea, even those that seem to freely be doing these, they are bound by addictiveness. You understand what I'm saying? Lust and pleasures. They're bound by these things because they can get no satisfaction. You see, the intent is to be satisfied. But this is meant to satisfy you. But the intent in carnal world is to be satisfied, to have the feeling of satisfaction. But the true feeling of satisfaction comes from these. A false sense of satisfaction will come from these. And by that sense of satisfaction that comes from these, they ensnare you all the more. Family, do you not understand what I'm telling you? Can you not feel it in your heart, the truth of the message I'm giving you right now? By the blessing of the Most High, who has placed his wisdom in me, can you not feel the blessing that I'm trying my best to share with you all? It is not mine, for these words are the Most High's. I cannot take any credit or glory for them. I don't want no praise from nobody. That's why I'm not spending my YouTube like everybody else do for the likes and things and for the subscribers and all of these other. I don't ask you to subscribe. I don't ask you to like. I don't need your help with the channel. For I tell you truly that when calamity meets people all around, they will go seeking and find the truth. And if I be part of that search, then I've done my job. That's a subtle action. You understand? Subtle actions are only organic actions are subtle actions. You see? These are organic actions. They're subtle. These are inorganic actions. You understand what I'm saying? Organic, inorganic. Real, false. True, wicked and false. I just say false, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. These are being fed to you as the real thing when they're not. They are cooked up things by man's own lust and desires and pleasures. Man did these things. He revealed and created and formed these things. For the Most High is the former of these things. Yea, but by forming these, done, undone, done, left undone. These are what he did. This is what he left undone. And by doing these are also made known so that these may exist. You understand? Just like hot and cold. Let's just say this is we know this is the heat, and this is the cold hearted. The warm hearted and the cold hearted. You understand what I'm saying? Well, I'll just say the hot hearted and the cold hearted. The warm hearted is the one who makes use of these things properly, because you can misuse these. You understand what I'm saying? You can misuse these. It is proper. It is likely for man to misuse these, but these are misused when they're coupled with these. That's how you misuse them. When selfishness and ego enters in, and you do it for only yourself, to gratify only yourself, and you're not doing it for anybody else. That's when these become misused, and the birth of these come out of man. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all got to figure out just how things come to be. How did any of these come to be but by knowing them from the Most High? Because we could look at our nature, see how we live in the world, look at carnal man, look at what man becomes when God is seemingly absent. You understand what I'm saying? Look at man can go no higher in his evolution of good when there is no source thereof. You see, these are the things that the Most High, this is what he is. You understand what I'm saying? These are the things that we enjoy, his fruits, his spiritual fruits. These are the fruits he gives off of his tree that we can sup and eat and enjoy ad infinitum. And too much of any of these things won't hurt us when used properly. And there's no evidence of this within our heart. That's why the Most High, he can't just give these things to us when there's still evidence of these within us, because we'll hurt ourselves. You understand? So we got to work on removing these before we can truly make full use of the full nature, the highest essence of these. You understand what I'm saying? Opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. The wicked have the opportunity to perform their dense actions, right? And out of their dense actions, out of all of this calamity, oh man, look at what I'm getting ready to say. Out of all of this calamity that's happening in the earth, the opportunity to do good is now manifesting. Because if man was content and he had his money and he had his cars and all his material wealth, and he was content in his life, he had a good job and opportunity, good family, everything was good, any help you give this person would be meaningless help. It would be a help that if I do this for you, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. It becomes a deal rather than anything that is just naturally good. This is what it becomes when man is content in his carnal life. So his contentment must go away, so that when someone does good this time for him, it actually goes deep into the heart, so that man can finally learn and see that out of his calamity and all of that which blinded him is now removed. Everything that kept him from reasoning right in the presence of the Most High is now removed. He can see clearly when good is done to him, or when the example of good is set about him, so that he can be the onlooker and say, wow man, we going through hardship and you're able to do such good. Like, it really, like, when people start seeing good after their house is burned up, after they no longer have no more, after carnal government is dead, and they see the righteous rising up, or they see the righteous doing good, and they see the examples being set. You see, out of this, you who are righteous, the opportunity to do good is at hand. The opportunity to seize merit in the presence of the Most High is at hand. Right now, you have the chance to seize every moment and every opportunity whereby with which you are able to seize. Do that. Do not let it pass you by, because this is how you declare yourself to be wheat in his sight and in his presence. To seize every moment to do good. And yea, you could even start with the good in yourself, where you don't need anybody else but the yielding to his will, the yielding to his dictates within you. This is the beginning of your good in his presence. This is the first good that must be done. Care for you in your house first, before you're able to stand up as teacher in the kingdom of heaven. You understand what I'm saying? And if you're not right with self, you must be right. You must be right there first before you can be right anywhere else. Truly. You understand what I'm saying? I say that, I emphasize the word truly, because you can still do good externally as a means to work on yourself. But don't do it for man's praise. You understand what I'm saying? But do it in the best effort. Put your 2 cents in, so that you all can come out of this thing tried and true and marked. The mark of heaven is a very subtle thing. It isn't a physical, condensed action like I'll say this. My actions are more dense. My movement, my work, my physical effort is only, it's an action. We know this. And it's a dense action, we know this, but more subtle than the actions that I perform are the words I speak. And more subtle than the words I speak are the thoughts I think. You understand what I'm saying? And even more subtle than this is the Most High himself. All praises to the Most High. You all will understand this soon enough, how much I'm speaking in truth ain't to you. You're going to know it and understand it down deep in your heart. And you ought to be governed by this subtlety that is the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? He's not going to force his way on you. You can do what you want, Be chosen and be prepared for fire and stubble. Be stubble prepared for fire, or wheat prepared for good grain, or for sustenance. Wheat is meant for sustenance in the kingdom of heaven. Be prepared for this. Know these things. Understand these things. This is real. What's happening right now. So choose your actions wisely, family. Choose your actions wisely. Whether they be subtle actions. Yea, what are subtle actions in the midst of all of this trial and tribulations? Never to rise up to do evil. Never to rise up to retaliate in evil. To retaliate in wickedness. Never rising up, letting these things, if you can't deal with the fire, because Haiti is the beginning of the burning of fire in each and every one of these nations. And as you can see, those that are not strong enough, that are too subtle in their too weak in their physical being, and subtle in their thinking, and they can't come to see how someone can kill like how these people do. You understand what I'm saying? You can't come to reason like how they do. Then you must flee, because you don't have the, I'm going to tell you like this. You haven't worked on spirituality, so you don't have the power to subdue them. Yea, there is a power strong enough to subdue even them. I tell you, I kid you not, the love of the Most High can subdue even the wicked. Yea, why will 10,000 flee from one? This is the image of subtlety. Why would 10,000 flee from one? If that one didn't have the power of the Most High, the most subtle thing of them all. Do you understand what heals us? When we get sicknesses and diseases and things like that, do you understand that the elements are more subtle? You understand what I'm saying? The elements are evidence of subtlety and materialistic in the material kingdom. The most subtle thing of material kingdom or materialism is element. You understand what I'm saying? These elements are most subtle of all. And by using the elements, man can unite his flesh with these elements in order to obtain healing. When it comes down to herbalism, you understand how they have to cook things and condense these things and break them up and make sure that they're extracted. You extract a certain essence from these things, and that's the very thing that when you unite and when you take these things into your body, right, they heal you. We are healed by the subtle things, just to show you evidence of how strong, how much more mightier that which is subtle is over that which is not so subtle. That which is grand, that which is greater. You understand what I'm saying? And so this is physical evidence to show you the nature of the things, but yet even more subtle. All praises to the Most High. Then the elements is spirit. And if man by way of spirit has within him already spirit, more subtle than all the elements combined, or all the elements individually, then he has wherewith the power to heal every faculty within his members when used right, when keeping the kingdom of heaven. He has the power, the ability to generate his own strength, his own power, his own effort in the presence of the Most High. Sound like somebody might be at my gate, but they're gonna have to wait. So, do you understand the nature of what I'm saying right now? The wheat, subtle, sustaining, nurturing wheat. You understand? Like, if you really, a lot of y'all just say wheat and tare, but never once. How often have you actually evaluated what's the use of wheat? What's the use of tare? What do they do? What are they sustenance for? Tare is sustaining a fire. Their stubble meant to be thrown into a fire, and its sustenance for that fire, so that that fire be manifest greater and greater. And what is wheat sustenance for but for the physical health and nourishment of man and all type of physical living beings? Wheat is meant to nourish the living, and Tare nourishes the dead, the fire. And you all are making your choice. I kid you not. Be weary of your actions and what you do. Every action you make is a choice in his presence right now as to what you will be. You are manifesting what you want to be in his presence. And by the time you look up and realize what you're doing in your own actions, it'll be too late for you to turn it around suddenly or sooner than you would have had you had caught on to what was going on. And so demons are out here feeding you all opportunity and thought and opportunity. Temptation is nothing but opportunity. Nothing but opportunity. Temptation is opportunity to do evil, wickedness, and fulfill sin. That's what temptation is. Your opportunity to fulfill all of your sins. And those of you who seize these opportunities, these moments to do these evil things, you are marked with a mark of a beast. Because everything that derives from the actions involved in these are beasts. This is what animals do. You understand what I'm saying? This is what animals do in the flesh. This is the animal kingdom right here. But the spiritual kingdom are these. And those who lay hold and seize the moment and opportunity to do these are also being marked with the mark of God. Spiritually. I do this because that's what you read. I do this because that's what you read. You're marked here and here. That's what you read. But I guarantee you, family, we're being judged right now. And we are ourselves our own judge. The moment we make the choice to choose which action to complete, fulfill, and do will be the moment we have chosen the judgment we want to have. The judgment we want over our heads. That's what's happening right now. Let me go see who out there. But peace and blessings to y'all. I'm doing my best to try to share with y'all and give y'all and sway your imagination in the right direction from all that's happening right now. Because if you can't conceive right, you will likely be caught up in the Tare moment, in a moment where you are able to do evil and wickedness, and you will do it, and you will not be able to ward it off because you haven't strengthened the subtleties of your spirit so that you can sense the good that you can use to ward off the evil that is in front of you, that is manifesting round about you. And because you don't ward off the evil can't say, they're going to look at you and be like, who are you? Paul, I know. Peter, I know. You see, you are known when you go against the demon. But you're not known and you're nothing to them when you don't. So, peace and blessings to you. Well, that was a male lady. That's what it was. But peace and blessings to you. And I pray this message helps out somebody and reaches somebody deep within their heart so that they know and understand what's actually happening right now. Heads are being cut off of all of these nations. And Haiti is number one, showing you what's going to happen. Because this is going to be the nature of the world, worldwide. Peace and blessings.